Howdy there, and welcome back to Meeting Minutes, Ottawa County Board of Commissioners meetings conveniently recapped in 3 minutes or less so regular folks like you and me can understand what's going on. Today we're covering the January 27th Board of Commissioners meeting. As always, I'll include a timestamp right here so you can watch the discussion and votes on each item in the YouTube recording if you want. Let's get into it. The meeting started off with the presentation of multiple life-saving and commendation awards presented by Sheriff Eric DeBoer for several instances of bravery, quick thinking, and discipline from our sheriff's deputies, sergeants, and detectives. After that, we kicked off the year's annual report, starting with the Department of Strategic Impact, which was a wonderful highlight of the department's talented and hardworking staff. After some public comment, we saw the approval of the consent resolutions, which are items that were all discussed and voted on in last week's standing committee meetings, which you can learn more about in the last episode of Meeting Minutes. One of these items, the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan, was moved from here onto the main agenda for an informative follow-up presentation, more discussion, and a vote from the full board, which is required for some of the grants that the Parks and Recreation Commission is competing for. Next, we got into the action items section of the agenda. Item A was the post-execution ratification of contracts. Approving contracts is a standard monthly process that was previously just a part of the Finance and Administration Committee, but has been moved to be a part of full board meetings. The board discussed one contract for an upcoming citizen survey, but ultimately everything passed. Next up was the approval of the employment contract for our new Deputy Administrator, Brian Dissett, who will be starting in his role soon. At this point, the board entered what is called a closed session, which is allowed under the Michigan Open Meetings Act in specific circumstances. In this case, the reason was for the discussion of purchase of real property, which is a fancy way of saying land. When the board emerged, they passed a motion authorizing Parks Director Jason Shamblin to move forward with the land acquisition in Spring Lake for the Parks and Recreation Commission. The board then went back into closed session, this time to discuss labor union negotiations, which is also allowed under the Open Meetings Act. They came out about 20 minutes later and ratified a contract with AFSCME, a labor union representing public health employees. The board then went back into closed session just one more time, and when they emerged about 7 minutes later, they voted to extend a contract with AFSCME for community mental health employees. And after that, we saw another round of public comment and some commissioner comments, but that was it for the January 27th Board of Commissioners meeting. We'll see you in 2 weeks for the February 10th Board Standing Committee meetings. Take just a second to double check that you're following our page so you don't miss anything important, and give this video a like if you want to see more government content that's meant for regular people to actually understand. Thanks for watching, slow down on the roads, and have a great day.